The Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 6 has finally been released on Disney+, and it really was a truly awesome episode to begin the final arc of the season. So I'm going to break down everything that went down in the episode and how it connects to the other Star Wars TV series and films. Before we get into it, make sure you slice the subscribe button with your Darksaber for more awesome Mandalorian Season 2 content. We begin right off in the cockpit of the Razorcrest, with Mando attempting to do the same training with Grogu as he tried with Ahsoka on Corvus. Grogu is able to use the Force to take the knob from Mando, but they very quickly arrive on Tython in the deep core of the galaxy. I'm not really sure how the Razorcrest was able to get through the intense storms and dangers of the deep core, but they did make it to the surface without a problem. Also, make sure to check the description after you finish the video for a full history of Tython and its connection to the origins of the Jedi Order. Once there, they very quickly arrive at the Seeing Stone that Ahsoka mentioned in the last episode, and Mando places Grogu directly in the center of it. He does get quickly frustrated when not much is happening, but moments later, he hears some static on his comms unit before we get the reveal of the man himself, Boba Fett, arriving in his incredible ship, Slave One. For those of you who don't know, Slave One was actually obtained by Jango Fett as a prison patrol and attack craft from the prison moon of Uvo 4 in the far reaches of the galaxy in the Star Wars Bounty Hunter game. After seeing Slave One enter the atmosphere with Boba inside, Mando urges Grogu to get off the Seeing Stone so that they can leave. But before he can grab him, a mystical force barrier is created, launching Mando away from the Seeing Stone. Mando has absolutely no idea what is going on, but he doesn't have much time to think about it, as Boba exits Slave One and confronts Mando, demanding that he return the armor he got from Cobb Vanth in Episode 1. Mando then does his typical thing, asking if Boba is a real Mandalorian, and Boba gives the most awesome response possible, saying, "I'm a simple man making his way through the galaxy." Obviously a reference to his father, Jango Fett's line in Attack of the Clones. Following this, we find out the pretty predictable twist that Fennec actually survived that cliffhanger in the last season, and the mysterious man who saved her was actually Boba Fett. Because of this, Fennec is now in debt to Boba Fett and works alongside him. We also finally learn in canon that Boba's armor was given to him by his father, Jango Fett. All Boba really wants is his armor back, but this dream can't be fulfilled just yet, as the tracker placed on the Razorcrest by the Mimbanese engineer is finally used, with Imperial forces very rapidly arriving on Tython, setting up a standoff between Boba Fett, Fennec, Mando, and of course Moff Gideon's forces. In a panic, Mando once again tries to take Grogu from the Seeing Stone, but the Force will not allow him to, flinging him backwards, impacting the hard, rocky ground. As the Imperial stormtroopers begin rushing out of their landing ship, Boba and Fennec begin firing on them, and awesomely, Boba is using the cycler rifle, which he likely took from a Tusken Raider. He then also uses the Tusken Gaddafi stick, really showing just how accustomed he has become to living on Tatooine and learning how to use the Tusken weaponry. As the vicious battle continues, the stormtroopers pull out an E-Web heavy repeating blaster, which we of course saw in the first season, but it was first seen in The Empire Strikes Back, as well as being used in the Night of a Thousand Tears, according to Moff Gideon. With the fierce onslaught of stormtroopers continuing to attack Boba and Fennec, Boba flies into a rage, brutally killing them by crushing their faces and piercing them directly through the heart. As gruesome as this is, you have to love seeing Boba be this awesome. After he kills a few more stormtroopers, he very quickly gets a view of the Razorcrest, where he spots his beloved armor inside. Mando then tries to pull Grogu from the Seeing Stone once again, but of course fails again, before rushing out of the area and teaming up with Fennec. The two make quick work of the stormtroopers, and then out of nowhere, Boba Fett flies onto the scene with his own Mandalorian armor, absolutely decimating every stormtrooper he sees. So awesome to see Boba back in his armor. After this, we get an absolutely incredible shot where Boba lowers his rangefinder before targeting his rocket directly at one of the Imperial ships trying to escape, completely obliterating it and causing it to destroy the other escaping ship. Honestly, I'm so happy that Boba's back in action. Following this, however, the Razorcrest is completely obliterated by a single shot from above, sending it into a huge red fireball and destroying everything inside. Following this, something absolutely incredible happens. Moff Gideon deploys the Dark Troopers that we saw him preparing on Navarro, and they jet in straight out of his Arquitens class cruiser, just like Mandalorians, and land in a circular formation around the child. For those of you who don't know what Dark Troopers are, I have a full explainer on them here, linked in the pinned comment down below, but they were basically advanced battle droids which were equipped with powerful exoskeletons, weapons and jump packs intended to replace the Empire's stormtroopers during the time of Palpatine's reign. They were designed by General Rom Mock, an Imperial who was obsessed with martial arts and hand-to-hand combat, and were first seen in the Star Wars Dark Forces game. Unfortunately, the Dark Troopers are easily able to capture Grogu, jetting off with him in hand back to Gideon's ship. Immediately following this, Boba boards Slave 1 in his awesome armor, chasing down Grogu in hopes of taking him back for Djarin. While in pursuit of Gideon's ship, Boba is shocked to see that the Empire is back, believing that the Outer Rim was fully controlled by the New Republic. He also makes a comment about this not being a spice stream, almost implying that Boba has been hitting the spice in his time on Tatooine. Following this, Mando is distraught with the loss of the child, and the only thing he is able to recover is the Beskar spear, which was given to him by Ahsoka in the last episode. Boba then shows Mando his chain code and talks about his father having fought in the Mandalorian Civil Wars, which of course we saw in the Jango Fett Open Seasons comic. He also goes even further to confirm that Jango Fett was actually a Mandalorian foundling in canon, finally putting that debate to rest once and for all. After this, Boba pledges to the Mando that he is in his debt until the child is safely returned, because of their agreement to trade the armor for the safety of the child. Immediately after, Mando races off back to Navarro, where we learn that Cara Dune has finally gone legit and become a marshal of the New Republic. Because of her new abilities to access the New Republic military and criminal records, Mando asks that she track down Mayfeld, who was of course from the Prison Break episode last season. She hands over the data despite having many more rules and regulations now that she's official, but we soon cut straight to Gideon's ship. Grogu is placed inside of a holding cell, where he hilariously begins ragdolling his stormtrooper guards around like toys, flailing them around with the Force. Grogu of course gets tired after using the Force like always, but soon after, Moff Gideon walks up to him and ignites the Darksaber near him with a mixture of teasing and threatening. For those of you who don't know, the Darksaber is a unique type of lightsaber which was crafted by the first and only Mandalorian Jedi Tar Vizsla during the time of the Old Republic. After his death, the weapon was stolen from the Jedi Temple Vault on Coruscant, where it eventually went down the line through to Pre Vizsla, Darth Maul, all the way through to Bo-Katan and then Moff Gideon. If you want to know every single holder of the Darksaber, make sure you check out the description and card on screen now. After this, Moff Gideon orders his officers to inform Dr. Pershing that their donor has arrived, and Grogu is horribly stunned with a blaster before being cuffed with tiny hollow cuffs. This unfortunately confirms who the donor was from the Navarro episode earlier in the season, confirming the terrifying thought that we pretty much already knew. Also, I don't know if it was just me, but it almost looked like Moff Gideon was able to resist Grogu's force pull on the Darksaber, but more than just through physical strength. Maybe they just confirmed that he was force sensitive. I'm not sure, but let me know down below. So that is my full breakdown of The Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 6 Chapter 14. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to subscribe to be notified as soon as I release my breakdown for next week's video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.